Hey, what's up? This is Jason Hook from Flat Black, and you're watching CMS TV.
I got to stop. I got to call myself, deep breaths, because we have a man of God coming on.
Oh, and I'm dropping F-bombs. Sorry.
Greg Mack, how are you, my friend?
I'm a terrible example of a man of God.
95.5, The Fish.
Okay,
So,
I work on The Fish. So that's my godly resume right there.
That's the extent of it. Forget about all those times in the flats and everything else. We won't talk about those times.
All the F-bombs I drop off the air, Yeah. No, I'm here to unite everybody.
That's right. Yes. So tell everybody what you do. You are on The Fish, but I see you at all times of the day, so I don't actually know what you do. I assume that you just hang out there and ride bikes to radio stations and just chill and then leave.
Yeah, well, I do more behind the scenes than in front of the microphone, which is pretty common in radio these days.
Yeah.
In fact, almost my entire air shift today was voice tracked because I've got so much to do before I head out to Pan, Ohio. So I'm like working on logs and listening to myself on the radio.
So you're part of Afternoons with Friends, though, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of a mix match of people that do afternoons throughout the week.
Right. What we try to do is we try to do some breaks together, all three of us. But basically, the original premise of the show was, Greg's going to be on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Christine will be on Tuesday. Josh will be on Thursday or whatever. And I'm just like, that's just I hate inconsistency in radio. So I said, well, let's get in the studio together, cut some breaks. So, we pre-record a bunch of breaks. Sometimes we do them live if we happen to be there all together live. But Christine's got a busy schedule. So does Josh. I mean, Josh does more on your side of things over on WHK than he does The Fish. So, we're all really busy.
I'll tell you what, though, I enjoy The Fish. And, I know a lot of people aren't into that kind of music. I am. I think it's pretty cool.
Well, the Christian artists have really...
It's a lot different than people think.
Right. When I first started at The Fish back in the early 2000s, it was stereotypical Christian music.
It was a half step up from hymns.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's it. That's not it anymore. I mean, country music has also evolved. I mean, country music evolved into more rock, pop kind of stuff, and I think Christian music has kind of evolved.
Some country music songs, I can't tell whether I'm listening to WGAR or Z1079. It sounds like hip hop.
Well, and Christian music's gotten that way too. They've really taken the pop element and a lot of the rock element.
Oh yeah.
I mean, bands like Skillet come to mind as if somebody doesn't tell you
over.
Yeah, but if somebody didn't tell you that they were a Christian band, you would just think, another cool 2000s band.
Right. Right.
Now, does Jars of Clay still make music?
Not that I know of.
When I was growing up, I love that band, and I only had a couple of hits that I knew, but they played it on MMS, or at least one of them.
Yeah, we were playing them on the Fish back in the day. In fact, they were definitely one of the hipper groups we were playing back then.
All right, so we've been talking all day. I'll get your thoughts on all this stuff first before we get into why you're here. You're going to talk about a good cause.
Matt doesn't know what he's talking about. First of all,
thank you.
He sounds like every liberal I argue with on Facebook.
Yeah.
The Republicans are for big corporations. Oh yeah, who paid for all those jabs that we had to take for the last 4 years?
Yeah. Oh no, those are small pharmaceutical companies. I think they're based out of Idaho somewhere.
Mom and pop pharmaceutical companies. Sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm sure that Jeff Bezos and no, he's not a big corporation, is he?
No.
George Soros, he doesn't support any big corporations, right? No.
Oh, he owns what? 6 big media corporations, among other things?
Forget about that.
And don't get me started on Soros and Klaus Schwab. I mean, they are the Democrat Party. I mean, Joe. It doesn't matter if it's Kamala Harris or Kamala, however you say her name, or Michelle Obama, or Gavin Newsom. It's all going to be the same because the Democrat Party is run by Klaus Schwab and George Soros and the World Economic Foundation. That's it.
Yep.
I totally agree with you. We were talking about the attempted assassination, talking about the Secret Service today, who, the head of it had her press conference, or I guess grilling or whatever you call it.
Hearing.
At which she said nothing.
Oh, yeah. So, I was listening to the replay of the Bob France show this afternoon while I was doing logs, as a matter of fact, and I heard Bob tease that he was going to play that conference.
Yeah.
I hope you guys, your dump button's working over there in the HK studio, because I heard what's her name say told her that it was absolute bullshit. And I was like, whoa.
Well, I actually told Bob, because I started listening to it at the very beginning, and I listened to her opening statement where she said, I'm not going to answer about this, I'm not going to answer about that, I'm not going to answer about this. I told Bob, there's no point in running this press conference because she ain't going to say anything.
Right. And you know what? The more and more that she keeps quiet, the more it looks like a cover-up and an inside job.
Absolutely.
I'm leaning that way hard. And I said this to Seth last week. I used to do that kind of work when I was in the military on a much smaller level. I was not a Secret Service guy, but no, I guarded one general. But I still had the same kind of responsibilities, going out, pre-surveying, finding lanes of opportunity, identifying, that's what we did. There's no way is this just screw-ups.
Chris, what would have happened if that general got shot and killed under your watch?
I'd still be in prison. I would still be in prison today. Believe me, if I always had it in my mind. I was never afraid, but I always had it in my mind that if a bullet flies, I hope it hits me, because I did not want it to hit him.
Right.
Because they would have made it way worse on me than death. I'd have been in Fort Leavenworth forever.
Jeez.
And no, there was no tolerance for it then. And again, this was 10 rungs lower than a former president and probably the next president. Mm-hmm. And at that level, we had to go out and survey days in advance. And this is before we had computers and drones and everything. We had to literally walk the entire area and identify, well, and it was all math, quite honestly, which makes no sense because I'm terrible at math, but we used to literally have to sit there and be like, okay, well, this has this divided by this, and the what is that? Geometry
angles and whatnot.
We had to do all that geometry to figure out, well, this would be a 20% most likely, and this would be a 10%, and this would be a 3%, and and then weather would come into it. I mean, it was a whole thing just to figure it out. And that was on a level of a guy in the Army, not the leader of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would love to answer Brian from Tennessee's question here. Yeah. So maybe I'm an anomaly, but Seth knows this. I am not a Trump guy.
I'm not either.
Me either.
Yeah.
I mean, I like him.
You are, Seth. Come on.
All right, I'm a Trump guy because I want to vote for him, but I would have voted for anybody other than him too.
Right. I mean, but we're in an era now where you cannot vote for a politician anymore. You're voting for party whether you like it or not. I mean, 10 years ago, I used to take pride in saying, "Hey, I'm all about voting for the man or the woman," but you can't do that anymore. You're voting. You got to vote for your party.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question. I know there's a lot of people, a lot of MAGA people that, Trump, MAGA, America. I don't know. I don't know why so many of them idolize him. Maybe it's because Trump did and said what we always thought every politician should do. I remember thinking to myself over the years, why don't we stand up to the Arab countries? Why don't we stand up to Russia? Why do we pussyfoot around? And here comes Trump, and he's doing everything we thought and said he should do. And half the people said, yeah, this is it. The other half of people, they got scared. And they're like, oh, shit, we really have a politician in there that's saying and doing this.
It's true.
Well, that's what I liked. I liked the politician that was sitting there and saying things that I was saying to myself, or, I'm using language sometimes that I use. It's not these stuck-up same people that are in there year after year. Look, I've talked to so many politicians. I know what went down. I know that these politicians back in the day, Republicans and Democrats, would sit there and hate each other on the camera, and as soon as those lights went off, they went out to dinner together and were shaking hands and having a good time, having drinks and going to each other's houses and parties and everything else. And they were just abusing us Americans. And they were using us to divide each other, and they still do that.
Right.
Trump was the one that didn't.
Yep. Yeah, to quote Dan Bongino, he said it best, the Republicans may not be the answer to all of your problems, but you can bet that the Democrats are the cause of all of your problems.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about why you're actually here.
Sure.
Other than to talk politics. But you got a big event that you're starting on Wednesday, correct?
Yeah, I'm actually the only one conservative in America that rides a bike. No, there's more of us, but we're a minority. So I'm biking from John Carroll University at 8:30 Thursday morning, all the way down to...
Wait, hang on. Let me guess. John Carroll University is what, University Heights area?
Yeah.
Cleveland Heights, University Heights, somewhere around there?
Somewhere in there, yeah.
So I think you're going to go from John Carroll to downtown Cleveland.
Sort of.
Almost.
Because that would be a hell of a ride.
It would be a long ride.
Yeah, it would be. But no, we are going from John Carroll all the way down to Cincinnati Reds Stadium on the Ohio River riverfront. 350 miles this year is the total mileage that we're taking.
350 miles.
Yeah.
I don't like driving that far.
I was going to say, I would get out of my car after that drive and be like, oh, my knees, my back, everything. You're like riding a bike.
Yeah. Hey, we're doing it to raise money for the American Cancer Society. It's for a good cause. And the way I think of it is, we, even though we love biking, to bike that distance is a lot of suffering. And Seth, you know this with what you've told me about your stepmother going through her cancer battle. We don't suffer nearly as much as these cancer patients that are going through chemo and radiation, and we're doing this over 4 days. They chemo. I don't know of a 4-day chemo treatment.
No, no.
Wow,
It's a disease that just ravages you, and I don't really want to get into the conspiracy theories on cancer tonight, but I mean it's shocking to me.
I'll come on anytime and talk about that. By the way,
yeah, and we will. But
they hate it when I do, but yeah.
It's shocking to me that after all the money and everything that goes into this, that there's not an overnight cure for cancer, but what you are doing. How many guys are? Yeah, that is true. How many guys are taking this ride?
I don't know the exact number this year. It's usually between 300 and 400 riders. Wow. And some of them come from other countries to do this ride.
Are there women in that ride?
Oh yeah.
Too? Okay.
Yep.
How do you go? Do you go on main roads? Do you go on back roads? I mean, that's a lot of biking.
Yeah, well, they keep it as rural as possible. Obviously, coming out of John Carroll, we're going to have a police escort that's going to take us through the University Circle area. And then we head actually north on MLK. There's a lot of extra miles on day one that, are unnecessary, but it's the only way we can get out of the city. And we're going to go along North Marginal Road there, past Burke Lakefront. We'll head out to Lakewood, and then we'll finally hit the Rocky River Reservation. And then we finally start heading south towards Cincinnati. Wow. So we're going to get a good 30 miles in before we actually start going in the right direction.
Now, is it all roads, Greg, or is some of it like dirt roads, or?
It is all pavement.
Okay.
It's about 65% bike paths. Ohio has an extensive network of bike paths. It's pretty amazing.
Look, I used to take Route 42, which is basically Pearl Road, all the way down to Cincinnati when my wife and I didn't like highways. We're okay with them now, but for a while we didn't. And it would take us 6 hours to get down. How long does this bike take you? How many times do you stop?
So they have stops for us every 20 miles. And if we get into extreme heat, they'll set up stops every 10 miles. So they take great care of us. I do almost all the stops because you got to keep hydrated.
Now, do you spend the night?
Yeah. So day one, we'll go to College of Worcester.
Okay.
And we'll stay overnight in the dorms there. Day two, it's it's either Wittenberg or Otterbein down by Columbus there. And then day three is out in Dayton. It's Wright State, and then down, and then we finish in Cincinnati.
Wow. I'm trying to do the math here. How long does it take you to do 20 miles?
Me, it takes a tad over an hour, depending on the terrain. I average anywhere from 18 to 20 miles on flat roads.
Jeez, oh man.
Yeah. Look, my wife and I don't like taking a trip to Columbus without spending the night because we think it's too far to be driving back and forth.
You know what though? It's have any of you ever ridden a Harley?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Think of it as a Harley in slow motion and really getting up close in nature and really being able to see Ohio from a different viewpoint. Even when I bike downtown, it's just amazing to be riding in between all the towers and it's a completely different view.
How do you avoid your back not feeling like it's just pulling out of its skin? Because that's the feeling I used to get when I rode my motorcycle. Is I'd go 100 miles or something, and I'd be like, oh my god!
I gotta tell you, this is the first year that I've gotten this upper shoulder pain. And it's old age here, but I may have to go to a more upright bike in the near future. But the lower back is amazing for me. In fact, I've pulled my sciatic nerve. Okay. I don't know if you guys have had that.
Yes, that's awful.
I get on my bike and I get down in that position. Oh, it feels so good. Except when I hit a bump. If I hit a pothole, Forget about it.
Right?
I mean, it's so weird that you would compare the biking to riding a Harley slowly. You don't have to move your feet and your legs and everything else when you're doing a Harley.
Well, I guess that would be an e-bike at that point.
Yes, Rick says I need to get Seth a bike like a 3-wheeler powered by hands. So
hey, I told you about that, Seth.
Yeah.
They do have those hand bikes.
I need training wheels, though. I haven't ridden a bike in forever.
You get arms like Hulk Hogan.
This may be a dumb question, Greg, but I'm going to ask it anyway. To ride that far, my brain personally, I would drift. I would be drifting off and watching the mountains or the trees or the woods or whatever. How do you stay focused enough to not end up in the middle of a road or in the middle of traffic or whatnot? How do you keep yourself focused for 4 days of riding?
My mind definitely drifts. I mean, I'm focused, especially on the trails. I drift because I'm not worried about cars. Right. But I'm still paying attention to the things around me. It's kind of like when you're in your car, just kind of thinking. But I really just think about a lot of things while I'm biking, and work
do you
through
listen to music?
Whatever. Yeah, I do actually. On the roads, I'll only do one earbud, but on the trails, I'll do 2.
Okay. So are you guys, can you still donate to this cause, or are you guys looking for people or volunteers?
Yeah, so if you want to donate, I made it really easy. You can just go to my website, djgregmack.com, and that's M-A-C-K. So DJ Greg Mack, all one word, .com, and it's right there on the home screen. And we definitely need volunteers. And I would recommend, let me pop it up here on the computer. See if I can get you an easy website here. Okay, yeah, acsevents.org. That should take you, if you tool around there, that should take you to the Pan Ohio Hope Ride and links to volunteer.
And what is that one more time?
acsevents.org. Let me go there and just make sure. Oh, yeah, it lands right on it. Alert about the Pan Ohio Hope Ride. Ways to participate. Yeah, they've got it right there. We need water stop volunteers. I'm sure we need SAG drivers, people to help with logistics. Because you think about it, they're moving all of our luggage. Let me bring you back up here. They're moving all of our luggage from location to location while we ride.
Okay.
There's a lot of things involved behind the scenes. It takes 3 volunteers for every rider to make this ride happen. So you're looking at potentially 900 volunteers.
Wow.
Is how many they need. And hey, it's a free hotel stay where, if you're going to volunteer down in Cincinnati on Sunday, it's a free hotel stay in Cincinnati,
That's nice.
Yeah. But we need them in all 4 markets. In fact, I was shocked to see one of our first water stops at Wallace Lake in the Metro Parks, Cleveland Metro Parks. We don't have people yet for that.
Really? What day is that?
That's day 1. That's Thursday morning.
I tell Josh that I need a day off.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a blast too. It is such a blast. In fact, I'll put on my personal Facebook page. I'll be doing photos and videos from the ride as it happens.
Nice.
But if you guys want to steal them off my page and repost them or whatever, feel free. But we ride for 6, 7, 8 hours, 9 hours if you're really slow. And we've got a lot of slow riders. You don't have to be Lance Armstrong to do this.
Sure.
We ride, and then every night it's a big party, big buffet dinner. And oh my God, they feed us. Do they feed us? And then afterwards, we go to the local bar and drink if you want. I can't drink and ride, but some of these people, they get hammered, and then they're at the start line at 6:30 in the morning the next day.
Well, even eating, I can't see eating a whole big ass buffet and then getting on a bike in the morning.
Well, here's the thing: you are burning anywhere from 5,000 to 8,000 calories a day on the bike. So your body just takes that food and you don't. I mean, you could just sit there and eat and eat and eat and eat. You don't stop yourself.
Now, what are the rules of like guys coming up to support and just driving out to the buffet? And
I'm sure they'd frown on that.
How do you get back?
So they have a charter bus that takes us back to Cleveland, and also that charter bus on Wednesday night brings everybody from like Cincinnati and Worcester up here to Cleveland.
Okay,
Columbus. Yeah.
Wow.
Why not just go 150 miles one way, turn around, and come back?
That'd be boring. I personally hate out and back rides.
Really?
Yeah, I make a loop. I don't know if you've seen any of the rides I've posted.
Yeah.
Like I created a loop that took me to the Chagrin Falls area and up into downtown Willoughby, back down into Cleveland, back to home in Parma.
Wow.
You posted a loop the other day. It looked like the map of Australia.
Oh, that was
I was like,
that was yesterday.
I get tired like looking at your posts, and then I have to get up and go to work. I'm checking out Facebook. I see Greg doing these loops and everything else to get to work or back or wherever. I'm like, holy shit! I want to go back to bed after seeing your posts.
Well, a point I want to make too for people who are watching that maybe haven't ridden a bike since they were a kid, or oh, that'd be really cool, but I can't ride a bike, whatever. When I started this 10 years ago, I couldn't bike to the end of my street without getting out of breath. I bought a bike from Walmart, and I almost gave it up. I got so frustrated, and then I started biking every day. Did the towpath, and 2 miles became 5, which became 10, which became 20, and so on and so forth. And now I'm doing 100-mile bike rides, and I'm doing this 350-mile bike ride. Natalie, it's my pleasure. I mean, I'm riding. I have some selfish reasons. I lost my grandfather to cancer. My wife's a cancer survivor. So I ride in memory and in honor of a lot of people. So a lot of friends and family, awesome. Close family.
Well, you're feeling the love here, but people can donate djgregmack.com to donate.
Yeah.
And then it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, acsevents.org.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yep.
So it's a great cause, and I
absolutely.
Everybody is touched in some way by this disastrous disease. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing it firsthand now, how it destroys not only the person with the disease, but family members all around it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's horrific. So.
And it's hard when my son went through cancer. He had cancer at 26. He's 30,
wow.
30. What is he? 31 now. But 5 years ago he had it, and I can tell. Not that you need any proof. You've been through it too. But every day seems to take forever, and you just feel so helpless.
Mm-hmm.
There's always that. We're all independent, and we all want to just fix things. That's how we're all kind of wired. And it's one of those things you can't fix. You can't really help. You just have to sit there and be supportive and try not to show weakness, because then they'll feel it and then they'll get weak. Mm-hmm. It's a weird, awful time when you're going through it with somebody. It really is tough.
It has a permanent effect on you. You may overcome cancer, especially if you go through chemo. I mean, that just ravages your organs, and you're never the same. Your immune system is shot for the rest of your life. My wife, it's funny. Somebody said, "Oh, your wife had the easy cancer. She had thyroid cancer." Okay,
the easy one.
The easy cancer. Okay. So they removed her thyroid, but in the process, they severed a nerve to her vocal cord. My wife worked in radio.
Oh boy!
In fact, she might have worked with you guys through Metro Networks at some point at MMS or 92.3.
Yeah.
But she came over to the Fish. Was working middays when she got the cancer diagnosis, and then. woke up from surgery, didn't have a voice.
Oh my
He
God.
was completely gone.
Wow.
And
It is unbelievable.
yeah. Yep.
Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on today. It was about the time we wrap the show up. But I hope that people go to your website and donate. I hope people volunteer. And I please make sure that we get some pictures put up on your Facebook so we can see them and
Absolutely.
we'll steal them. And
Yes, please.
To see your ride. The only thing I hate about I'm sorry. I'm going to end the show on a bad note, and I'm sorry, and I apologize in advance for saying this. Because, Greg, you know that I love you. I consider you a friend.
Uh-huh. Uh-oh, it's coming.
I despise these biker outfits, man. Time that I'm behind one on a road and I see this
The spandex?
ass, this spandex ass just staring at me, and I'm like, and I got a pointy helmet, and I'm sitting there going, this guy's, seat is going straight up his butt, and I'm
Chris, don't believe him. You should see the way he looks at me when I walk in the studio in my spandex.
He does, and he does.
I swear he's gay for me.
Maybe that's why I have a problem with it, because I'm checking you out too much, and it's bothering.
It took me 2 years and a very sore ass to finally break down and start wearing those things. I thought they looked ridiculous.
Is it? Do you have to do it?
You do. If you're going to do any kind of long distance biking, anything more than say 5 miles, you need it.
It's got the padding in it, right? It's got the padding built into the ass.
Oh, really? I didn't know there was padding in the ass.
Oh yeah, that's the whole point of it. And then the because they're skin tight, they give you mobility. They're very flexible. So yeah, unfortunately, they look a lot better on the ladies than they do us.
Yes, yeah. But now that I know this stuff, don't be offended and don't call HR on me or nothing but at work. But I'm going to feel your ass next time you come in because I'm going to feel the padding.
All righty. It'll be our little secret.
Please have the cameras rolling for this.
Greg, I can't thank you enough again for coming on today, promoting this cause. Again, it touches everybody. And so please, everybody, donate, djgregmack.com.
All right.
Volunteer.
And hey, I look forward to coming back on, maybe as the angry conservative next time.
Yeah.
We can really get in the weeds.
Sounds good.
We're going to do that. And Jake pointed out that I say that I'm not a Trump guy, but yet I have a Trump logo in the background of my screen, and I've had it on there for the past month. So I guess I'm a little bit of a Trump guy. But
A little bit.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Chris.
Greg.
Thanks, Seth.
All right, take care, man.
I will see you soon. Be safe out there.
I'll try.
All right, man. Good
Greg.
stuff. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
good cause. And he's entertaining to talk to, man. He's one of us, and
Yeah. I'd love to have him come on and
I'm not going to tell you the stories of the flats because he'll have to tell you. I'll let him do that himself because I certainly don't want to do
he's
that.
a bit of a conspiratorialist too, right?
A little bit, and he's he's one of us,
right,
which
good.
I like, and so
I like that.
he's a good man, and I'm hoping that this ride goes well. I hope everybody is safe, all of them.
Hopefully it's not 100 degrees every day.
I hope the weather holds out for these guys, and I think it's again, my family's going through some of this stuff, and
Sure.
it touches a lot of people.
Yep.
I hope everybody has a great night too, and God willing, we'll talk to you on Wednesday. Anything planned yet? I don't think so.
No, not yet.
But
Just a quick note before we go. No Chris Aiken Presents tonight. Eric and I are actually moving that to Tuesdays.
really,
Yeah, we're moving it to Tuesday because it's becoming a pain in the ass for him with the travel.
wow.
Like he's not home yet from here. We didn't even
By
talk
the
about
way,
it here.
I know I did have a great time. Should we hold that for Wednesday?
We'll hold that for Wednesday. We'll talk about it.
I had a great
Wednesday.
time, and I didn't get to meet him, but we'll talk about it on Wednesday. It was a
Okay.
hell of a night.
Well, that's good.
We'll talk about that on Wednesday and much, much more because I'm sure the news cycle ain't going to end with this today. So
No, probably not. There's probably more to come.
there will be a lot more to come. So have a great couple of days. We'll talk to you Wednesday night at 4, and then we'll have extra content at 5:30 on Minds.
Yep.
My NDS.
Very good.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right, see ya.
The The most exciting and most talked about show today is Chris Aiken Presents. If you like great interviews, real road stories, and more, then Chris Aiken, Eric Ferentinos, and their cast of characters have the show that you need to watch. Catch the show live on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern at chrisaiken.net, CMS TV, Wowza TV, Rumble, and X. There's always lunacy happening on Chris Aiken Presents.